I'd like to call the regular meeting, wow, the mic works today. I'd like to call the regular meeting of the Desert Community College District Board of Trustees to order. Bonnie, would you please lead the pledge? Ready? Begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. President Kinnaman, would you call roll, please?
Yes, Trustee O'Neill.
Present.
Trustee Wilson.
Present.
Trustee Mary Jane Sanchez. Trustee Stefan.
Present.
Trustee Brotman.
Present. Thank you so much. Pursuant to the Government Code Section 5495.4.2b2, the board may take action on items of business not appearing on the posted agenda upon the determination by 2/3 vote of the board, or if less than 2/3 of the members are present, a unanimous vote of those present. That there is a need to take immediate action and that the need for action came to the attention of the local agency subsequent to the agenda being posted as specified. Are there any additions, corrections, or deletions to the agenda of May 16th, 2014?
None.
Okay. Hearing none, the agenda stands as confirmed. Unless there's something someone needs to move around.
So move.
Okay. Second. Thank you. I would like to make a comment that depending on how our day goes, we have some people that are going to give reports later on that if we're running late, then we may move them up a little bit. So just to make it convenient for people that have other things they need to do, like teach classes and things. So all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? I hear that as unanimous vote. We are now adjourning is not the right word, looking at my parliamentary. Recessing, that's the word I'm looking for, to closed session. Our closed session today is from 9:35 to 10:45. We should call this session back approximately 11 o'clock. Thank you. Let's reconvene this meeting. I thank you for your indulgence of giving us the extra 10 minutes. At this time, I'd like to cover a little board business. First thing is that we just came out of closed session. There was no action to report. Another is that this meeting is going to be adjourned in memory of Chuck Hayden, a longtime trustee that's passed away recently. And the third is my personal apologies. I'm going to need to step away around 2 o'clock for a meeting, a teleconference. Thank you for there being a wonderful world where we can deal with Washington at a long distance thing. And my vice chair, Bonnie, who certainly has more experience than I do being chair, will step in for me for a few minutes. So those things being covered, I'll move to public comments. Persons who wish to speak to the board on any item may do so at this time. There's a time limit of 3 minutes per person and 15 minutes per topic, unless further time is granted by the board. Your comments will be timed, and you'll be asked to stop speaking when the timer sounds. Please understand that the board welcomes your comments, but is not able to respond to them. Linda, who I would like to say thank you for standing in for, or sitting in, as the case may be, for Leanne today, has given me 2 requests to speak. The first is Craig Johnson. Craig?
Good morning. I feel like I'm in trouble again.
Good morning.
At the behest of Mary Jane, and I'm quite sure she gets everything that she asked for. In this case, she did. She asked me to come and talk about the programs that we offer. I'm with Oasis Community Services. We provide mental health care programming, both inpatient and outpatient. Specifically, I work in the outpatient or the community operations arm of the program. And wanted to discuss 3 services that we offer that I believe could be of benefit to COD students and perhaps even faculty, admin, staff, etc. The first one is a NAMI program, the National Alliance on Mental Illness. We have a relationship with them. We provide 3 of what they call their signature programs. Specifically, the program is called Parents and Teachers as Allies. As you can imagine, based on the title, it is programming not for parents and teachers, but parents or teachers. The idea is to provide information on early symptomology regarding mental health issues that may be seen early in children. The idea is to get children seen earlier, assessed earlier, start treatment earlier, knowing that earlier treatment leads to better outcomes for these kids. In educating individuals, the hope that the earlier assessment does indeed come into play. For students here at the college who may have their own issues, they can actually be trained to become a speaker. They get a small stipend for their presentation. But if there are groups of students or faculty, et cetera, who would like to have that presentation given to them, we'd be the ones to see. And information is in here as well as my card, and I'll leave this for you. The second program is Seeking Safety, and we'll actually be striking up a conversation with the Health Vote right next door. It is for individuals who have undergone a trauma in their lives, an unnatural trauma, and have chosen to utilize unsafe coping skills to deal with the trauma, substance abuse, becoming a recluse, etc. It is designed to teach safe coping skills to those who are choosing to utilize unsafe coping skills to deal with the pain brought on by the trauma. The hope is that we can have some sort of referral mechanism put in place so that when identified by current staff, they can refer those students or staff directly to our program. So this is designed to help prevent the blowing into a full-blown PTSD syndrome. So that's the second program. The third program actually coordinate the peer mentoring program for the entire county. So those students who have firsthand knowledge with mental health concerns, whether themselves, family members, friends, etc., or going to school in the area of psychology, sociology, and other behavioral health science, who would like to be a mentor, and it's very much like a big brother, big sister program, where it's a one-on-one link. They're asked to connect with the kid at least once a week, and they're paid a small sum to do that. So doing things like having fun, going to the park, going to the movies, they're making a big difference in these kids' lives, and they're getting paid to do it, and some wonderful experience. Information on all three of those programs are in the packet as well as my card, and I thank you for the time.
Thank you so much.
Okay. Should I leave these?
Next speaker is Matt Monica.
Good morning, President Broughton, Board of Trustees, Dr. Kinnaman, Cabinet and staff. When you see a program like Les Miserables, and you've seen it on Broadway and in Los Angeles, and it's a student production that I just need to have referenced in the record. I know most of the board and everybody on the dais saw this. We happen to see it twice, and I have chills from this production. Michael Hadley, our own, should be an international star. He's capable. And Darlene Romano, a professor of music, directed this program. And Jean Valjean, I feel like, is standing here next to me. But for a College of the Desert production, I think I mentioned to you we went twice and enjoyed it both times, is just a phenomenal compliment to College of the Desert and the direction this board and cabinet give Dr. Kinnaman to put on this performance. It was just phenomenal, and I need it read into the record only because it was that good. And by the way, it was directed and choreographed by Sean Newman, and the students and staff involved with this process are extraordinary. You can go to an SC or a UCLA, and yet they cannot perform Les Mis as the student production here. And Michael, I'm going to embarrass myself, but I'm going to do it anyway. I had Michael sign his name where his paragraph is and the front, and this is going to be framed, and I'm going to show him that because I was that taken aback, and of course being a fine arts minor had a little bit of an impetus on understanding the magnitude of what the students and staff did to prepare and the hours. So for the record, we were so taken aback and expected to be by this performance that I wanted to have a minute to share with you and commend you and Michael and all that represented Les Mis and the magnitude of a production that is above the professional level and yet done with staff and students. Thank you for your time. And look forward to seeing you at graduation in a week. Thank you.
Thank you. The next item, and thank you, speakers, for coming to us today. The next item are the minutes. Are there any corrections to the minutes of the regular meeting of April the 17th, 2014? Hearing none, they stand approved. Now we are moving to reports. Our first report, and David's going to be happy that it worked. College of the Desert Adjunct Association.
Well, thank you for accommodating my request because I have a tight schedule today. But hello, everybody. Good morning, and it's good to see you all again. And I take it that our flag is at half-mast in respect to Chuck Hagel. Is that right?
Yes.
It's a very, very nice gesture. At the end of this academic year, CODA is optimistic about the future. The state's budgetary situation seems to be much improved, which translates to improved conditions for community colleges and for adjuncts who comprise the majority of employees working therein. Our numbers are growing. Our contributions are also on the rise. This past academic year, we have seen adjunct participation in college governance at an all-time high. Adjuncts are on every standing committee and ad hoc committees, with one adjunct even chairing a subcommittee. This is in no small part due to the leadership of Douglas Redmond, Academic Senate President. As the college strives for growth and the corresponding increased funding from the state, we expect that adjunct contributions will be even more critical to the college's mission in the future. Therefore, it is even more important that adjunct issues be addressed. Over the past several months, CODA's reports to this board have included articles from a variety of credible sources about the plight of adjunct faculty across the country at all levels of higher education. Once again, we bring to your attention two recent articles that address this critical situation. One is from the editorial board of the New York Times, and the other from Atlantic Magazine. Please read these short articles. They're attached to this report. When you do, you will see this is a nationwide crisis that needs immediate attention. While you cannot solve the problems of higher education across the country, you all, each and every one of you, can do something meaningful to alter the inequality that exists here at College of the Desert. This is more than an issue of fairness of pay, benefits, working conditions, treatment, and more, as if that weren't enough. It is an issue that affects our students. Each of the articles presented to you recently have highlighted the impact of conditional faculty on students. As an institution, we spend many hours, many meetings, many initiatives on student success. Yet, as cited in each of the articles presented to you, student success is hampered by the lack of adjunct faculty availability, lack of advance notice of teaching assignments, lack of office space, lack of clerical support, lack of academic freedom, lack of time to spend with students outside of the class because of the need to teach at other colleges in order to survive, etc. All of which are the result of the college's deliberate decision to hire part-time faculty at very low wages in order to address its budgetary problems. Our budget is being balanced on the backs of our adjuncts and our students. It is important to note that the negative impact on students is not due to the lack of qualifications on the part of adjuncts. Adjuncts are as qualified academically and in experience as full-time faculty, and in many cases even more so. The negative impact on students is a direct result of practices created, implemented, and sustained by the policies of these institutions, including College of the Desert. But this can be remedied easily. The conclusion of the many reports presented to you is not only that a gross injustice exists at COD in the treatment of adjuncts, but also, more importantly, that it has a negative impact on our students. If students are our primary focus, solving the adjunct problem will contribute to addressing the problem of student success. COD has in the past provided you with a detailed list, CODA in the past has provided you with a detailed list of all of the ways that adjuncts fall far below parity with full-time faculty. Instead of closing this gap, it is in fact widening, and adjuncts are even farther away from parity than before. Failure to address this critical issue is unacceptable. Since negotiations with the district and CODA have only just begun, now is the time to start to remedy these inequities. We recognize that parity cannot be achieved in one fell swoop, but a significant move in that direction needs to happen now. Again, I am optimistic. I see conditions improving. I've never used up all my time in the 3 years I've been reporting to you. Can I have one more minute?
We'll give you, yes.
Again, I am
saved up.
optimistic. I see conditions improving. I see involvement of adjuncts increasing. I see an environment of cooperation. I see a future where fairness and equity is at some point attainable. But it won't happen without the concerted effects of this college's leadership. We call on you now to do the right thing. Thank you.
Thank you, David. Next up is COD Foundation. Do we have a formal report today, King?
Thought I had 3 minutes. That's great. Good morning, trustees, Dr. Kinnaman, cabinet, and staff. At the end of the year, we're all about numbers. How did we do this past year? What are our goals for next year? But none of our success would be possible without having the best end product in the Coachella Valley, our graduates. We thank the trustees for their direction and helping making student success a reality. Okay, so the Changing Lives campaign, our 30/30 campaign to celebrate 30 years of foundation support. Just as important as the $3.5 million that we raised were the friends and the awareness in the community that we raised. We had 72 brand new donors to the campaign, and I think that deserves applause. A personal applause to the staff, Kippy and Liz, whom you all both know very well. They worked night and day on this campaign.
Yay, money.
So I'd like to congratulate Dr. Kinnaman for personally leading the charge with this campaign, both publicly and internally. We dragged him to every single thing that we could, all of our receptions, and he was a good sport, spoke to everyone. He also led the charge internally, but a huge thank you to the internal campaign leaders, Doug Redman and Lisa Howell. And always for us, PM Hunter's guidance and work from the college side was invaluable. But I'd like to give a special commendation to Lisa Howell's departments. Almost 25% of the internal donors came from fiscal services and her other departments. So yay for Lisa. We're going to put her in charge next year. Because of the success of this campaign, we're hoping to finish up the year with a projected 50% increase in revenues. We expect to bring in more than $6 million this year. Wow. Pretty amazing. One of the most successful elements of this campaign, as you know, is showing off the beautiful campus, the stellar faculty, and meeting our students. Peter Sturgeon toured over 200 people, and he'll share with you what those tours brought in later at the end of the year, this summer. And last, our support group, the Academic Angels, they have also been out there in the community. They were the first 30,000 group to donate to the campaign, and they increased their membership almost 40% over last year. This concludes my report. Thank you.
So we're so glad you brought up numbers. Joel, can I turn this over to you at this point, and you can invite folks up to the front?
Sure. Thank you, Jan. Am I on? Okay. Yeah, I would like to ask the chair of the foundation to join us, Donna Jean Darby. Under her leadership the past year, we've seen remarkable things occur, and we've worked so much more together trying to identify priorities and jointly doing things with our trustees and with the foundation board. So I'd like to ask her to come forward, and I would also like staff to come forward. We want to present you with a resolution that's going to be approved later this evening, or later this afternoon, I hope. I hope it's not this evening that we're going to... I'm going to try to read this if I can. Whereas the College of the Desert Foundation's mission is to enhance the quality of education by advancing the College of the Desert through building relationships, securing philanthropic support, and stewarding assets. And whereas the Foundation's primary purpose is to provide financial support from the private and public sectors to help underwrite programs and facilities at the college. And whereas the Foundation, in honor of its 30-year anniversary, launched the Changing Lives campaign to raise $3 million in 30 days. And whereas Donna McMillan and Joanne McGrath served as co-chairs of the fundraising committee, providing exemplary leadership and support for the campaign, and whereas the foundation has exceeded that goal. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Board of Trustees of the Desert Community College District does hereby adopt this resolution in appreciation of all the College of the Desert Foundation, of all the College of the Desert Foundation does to support the students of the college, and applauds the foundation on reaching their fundraising goal. Passed and adopted the 16th day of May, 2014.
When Michael's here? Okay, Michael's got it.
I've got a button in my jacket, too.
We have the proper side of everything. Yes, there is. I think next to Bonnie.
Thank you.
Our fundraising success comes not only from the hard work of staff, strong foundation board support, and renewed community awareness from our Step Up for COD and our Everywhere You Look campaign, but also from a closer communication and collaboration with the trustees, administration, and faculty. For this, we are eternally grateful. Hope it will continue, and we will do our very best to support financially College of the Desert student success. Thank you.
Donna Jean, we thank you. We thank the board, and we thank the staff, the foundation, for all the hard work that they do. And we appreciate it more than you know. Our students don't always know all the hard work that you do. That's a realization that comes later in your life when you wonder, how did that happen? But the good side of that is that the appreciation and understanding of giving back to your community continues to grow throughout a lifetime. So we thank you so much. Next report is ASCOD.
AS is not here, but they asked me to report the names for them. Is that okay?
Works
Okay.
for me.
Okay. So We do have a new Green Council co-chair. His name is Jose Rodriguez, so I just want to let you know that. So if we can congratulate him for that, thank you. For our president for AS next year is John Zepper. Did I say that wrong? Go ahead, Carlos. Zapata. Sorry about that. For our vice president is Patricia Lacey. For our student trustee is Eleanor Campbell. For our officer of external affairs is Brittany Flores. For our officer of academic affairs is Timothy Duran. And for our independent senator is Jenny Asenso. And also for physical affairs is Francisco Cardino. Go ahead, Carlos. Coronado. Okay. And I would just like to congratulate them and wish them the best for next year. And I believe in them. So, thank you.
So we look forward to working with them, and thank you for standing in for that. At least we're not going to have a hard time remembering the trustees' names.
Yeah.
She's a little familiar. COD Alumni Association.
Good morning, trustees and staff members. I'm Jim DeBoom. I'm the interim executive director of the Alumni Association. I'll be around here for 3 or 4 months doing some work. What we have been focusing on in recent weeks and in the coming weeks, we had the alumni member luncheon and McCallum Theater production, I think it was a week ago Sunday, of which we had over 100 alumni and their guests attend. Enjoyed a good buffet lunch, then went to McCallum to enjoy the COD Theater Arts production. May is the transition month for the street fair. We go from 330 vendors probably down to 60 or 70 vendors for the summer months. And so we're now seeing people leave and going to the oceans area, cool breezes. It's not much cooler there today than it is here, but they go on to other fairs and venues for the summer. We are working on a 14-15 marketing plan for the street fair. In the past, we've used 55 different marketing venues, radio, television, magazines, newspapers. We've done a shotgun approach to advertising, and we've done it on a month-to-month basis. We are now focusing on reducing that number down to maybe 20, 22 marketing places that we will go to, and doing a 12-month contract with the people to get a better rate than we would get on a month-to-month basis. Marketing plan is being developed by Betsy Young and myself. We'll take it to our board committee on marketing, and then we'll take it to the board probably in June. We have been working on updating the street fair and the Alumni Association websites. Work has not been done on those since last September. We've got a head start on the street fair website. John Stevens, who's from Cathedral City, is our coordinator on that. The other website, the alumni website, has been hosted by Green Day since 2008, and they've sponsored us with that. There's been no charge for their work, and we're now proceeding on updating that website. We are removing from the association website much of the reference to the street fair, and we are putting up reference to students and to the college, because that's our mission. Street fair is the way we get there, but they've got their own website. We'll have a link to it, but we want to be straight with the IRS that our most important thing is the college and the students that we want to support. The next time you come to the alumni office, you'll see in the lobby 2 new wall mounts. One is a display rack with fair applications, alumni association membership applications, and other literature. The second one is a bulletin board where we've put up the advertising and the newspaper coverage of alumni and the street fair for people to see. Vendors are often worried that we don't do enough advertising, and when they come in, they're actually surprised that, hey, there's 20 tear sheets up there of advertising that you've done for the month. If you've been in the office and in the storage area, the inners of the alumni office, you probably have seen the 250 notebooks that files have been kept in for decades. We have removed everything from notebooks, put them in the banker boxes, identified the banker boxes, and are storing those. And now we have another gift that we will give to students, but I got to clear that with the bookstore, of basically very good notebooks, 1-inch, 2-inch, and 3-inch notebooks that people, and maybe the staff would like to have them as well. If you have questions or suggestions, my contact information is on the report, the printed report that you have in your book, and I'm there most every day. So I thank you for the time.
Thank you. Thank you. California School Employees Association.
Good morning. At each of your places, you'll find an invitation to our picnic. And this year's theme for the Classified School Employees Week is Inspiring Generations, since classified school employees are in a unique position to mentor students and celebrate their success. CSA Chapter 407 is proud to celebrate our members and to honor the 10 classified staff that are retiring this June. Dr. Kinnaman has confirmed his attendance and will be speaking on a matter of concern to our classified staff, which is our role in shared governance. We will also take time to discuss health and welfare benefits concerns at this meeting. The classified staff hopes that our trustees will join our CSA chapter members as we celebrate with great food and conversation. And so as a reminder, as is noted in your invitation, lunch will be served from 11:30 to 12:30 p.m. and it's Wednesday, May 21st in this room. And that's when food will be served, but we'll be there longer than that as well. Health and Welfare Committee met Friday, May 9th with Alliant Insurance Services and a representative from CISC, who presented the renewal proposals for our medical, dental, and other ancillary insurance products. Increases in medical premiums were a combined 5.8 for actives and early retirees. We had a productive discussion, and the committee is in the process of studying recommendations to develop options that will provide the best value with a balance between premium levels and levels of benefits. As part of our fiduciary responsibility, this committee is called to explore other options. For example, we learned that Desert Sands has recently switched to an organization called California Value Trust. Our committee has recommended that HR send census information for all covered groups to CVT. The Classified Bargaining Unit had previously requested this data and has already received a quote from CVT. And in the analysis, similar or slightly richer plans were less expensive with CVT. It was 4.5% less expensive for the 100% plan, 3.6 less for the 90% PPO plan, 9.7 for the 80% plan, and 22% less for the HMO plan. On a different note, but similar, according to a presentation by the Community College League, we received no statutory COLA between 07-08 and 2012, and that created, this was amazing for me to even read this, and this is from the College League, a cumulative loss of purchasing power totaling 18.3% during that time. We are thankful that community colleges received COLA amounting to 1.57 for 2013-14, and with the May revised proposal of this additional would be 0.85 for 14-15. We hope that the district will consider increasing our annual health and welfare allocation per staff by applying some of these COLA increases for the allocation. It's kind of interesting that in the 5 years since the allocation of 15,000 has been set, the 90% PPO plans premiums increased a total of 33%. And the HMO premiums increased a total of 22%. And this is without taking into account higher deductibles and co-payments that have been adjusted to keep those premiums down. So all of this will become a critical issue as the reserve that the classified staff had been allocated for has come to an end. And it's specifically for the classified staff a greater concern because percentage-wise, those increases amount to a significant amount more due to salary sizes. Supplemental retirement program. So as you'll see in today's consent agenda, HR item number 5, it includes a list of 10 classified staff members who are retiring June 30th. We have Margie Torres from Admission Records, Louis Ewing from Applied Sciences and Business, quite a number from nursing, the following: Margaret Fote, Joanne Wilson, Manuel Abergrena, all from nursing, and Margie Eklund from Institutional Advancement, Ruben Alcazar, a senior groundskeeper in maintenance and operations, Marianne Gon from off-campus programs, Gail Boo from financial aid, and Maria Magana also from admissions and records. We wish them all well, and we're happy for them, sad for us, but we'll be celebrating and hope that all of you are able to come, but we'll understand and we'll know that you're there in spirit. So thank you.
Thank you. Faculty Association? Yes, it's a maze up there.
It gives some to the Alumni Association and gives some to the foundation as well. So there's some for the alumni.
Great.
Thank you so much. Good morning. The Faculty Association has put together that short little newsletter, just front and back, to honor our 11 faculty who are retiring. Everyone from Frank Katoon for a mere 47 years at College of the Desert. Extraordinary story there, right? To 5 nurses who are leaving us. We're having a lot of celebrations, and that's a good thing. We will definitely miss our colleagues, and we wish them very well in retirement. Thank you to everyone who was involved in creating the tenure and retiree celebration event on May 9th. It was really time well spent and really greatly appreciated. Of course, more than ever, we're going to need our adjunct faculty. We need growth money, right? We need our adjuncts. And we urge, this is as strong a message as I can give you, that the district strongly support the higher pay and well-being of our adjuncts. They are absolutely critical to student success, to our overall College of the Desert image, okay, as well as to all of our programs, okay? We growth, adjunct faculty, a lot of support there. Of course, more than ever, we will need our support staff. Okay, we're all in this together. That's my message today. 10 of them, as Laurel just informed us, have taken retirement. Success in the classroom depends on our support staff. Without it, we get an awful lot of disconnects of services. We get a lot of stress, and we urge the district to be quite prompt in the hiring of well-qualified staff for the good of the whole. We look forward to the announcements from the district of new faculty hires. Most of the hiring committees have completed their work, which in some cases was a mere 160 applicants. And we know We know that the prompt processing is needed in order for us to hire the best and most qualified. This is hiring season, right, all across the state in all these different areas. And we have to do what we need to do to stay on top of it and be prompt and get great people over here at COD. I am very happy to report that the Faculty Association and the district have signed an MOU on dual enrollment. I'll write the book about that this summer. Okay. In some areas.
Can I co-author it?
Yes, please. In some areas, full-time faculty will be involved in teaching the courses at the high school. So a lot of that conversation has grown, and I am happy to see full-time faculty involved and excited to know what their reports will be. The Health and Welfare Committee did meet, and the new increases have been presented, and the association is seeking our quote along with the classified, because we know that when we're all in it together, the quote changes. So we also have requested a quote by giving our data that is necessary. Thank you so much for HR staff to do that. CVT plan, so that we can understand what that bid would be. We know from past experiences on the committee that it is our fiduciary responsibility to remain competitive and be well informed as to what is going on and what is available in our communities. It is very difficult to stay up with the cost of health care. We're all in this together. We know we absolutely have to do this. So that is our number one priority with bargaining, that according to the survey that the faculty did. The association will be bargaining on June the 4th and then be dormant for the summer when faculty are on break. Summer is a great opportunity for all of us here at COD. Administration, classified, faculty, to engage in respective areas in training and team building. When each area is a cohesive, caring team, we all benefit. I encourage all of us to pay attention to each other and be a community that models 3 C's: care, communication, collaboration. And I wish you all a very good summer.
Thank you. Academic Senate?
Good morning.
Good morning.
Morning.
I was at Chuck E. Cheese Wednesday, and I think it illustrates how this is the center of education here. One of the servers was all excited. She was like, "I'm signing up for College of the Desert next semester." It was a business lunch, don't get me wrong. But it's just everywhere you go. There's been a level of frustration amongst the faculty. Not all faculty, but a significant number. Some are frustrated because of the decisions that were made to do something. Some are frustrated by the same decision, which was to not do something. Some are frustrated because things are moving too quickly, and some are frustrated because things are moving too slowly. This clear frustration should cause us to pause and consider why, and is the college making the right decisions, going in the right direction, and is it happening too fast or too slowly? I offer the following observations on why, based on numerous and varied conversations with faculty and administration. First, with some issues, faculty have disagreed with the decisions made by administration and have felt arguments against the decisions made by faculty were not being understood or were being ignored. To compound it, at times, some of the issues were clearly related to academic and professional matters. Second point, some faculty felt some decisions were being made too quickly, not giving them time to participate in the conversation and the decision-making process. It appears, on certain issues, administration has been frustrated with the length of time it can take to properly vet issues through the Senate. In addition, and I would say here, all agree that communication opportunities, pathways, and the allowance for input to be heard in a timely manner is an issue. I offer the following observations on is the college going in the right direction based on numerous and varied conversations with faculty and administration. I've seen administration change their decisions, and I thank them for listening and reconsidering the issues. In one case, faculty had disagreed with the decision, and administration had changed their position. And in another case, there was not agreement, and faculty shared their view. And again, administration, I don't know how to say it, but aligned with that position, agreed with that position, and that was the direction. Again, I thank them for that. I've seen some faculty and administration work collaboratively and begin the process of aligning meetings and schedules to facilitate better communication. This is good. I have not seen any malicious motivation from administration to not include faculty. What I have seen at times is that issues related to academic and professional matters are discussed and initial decisions are made before involving faculty, or getting faculty involved in the conversation too late in the process. I've seen a lack of clear communication between administration and faculty, and between faculty to faculty. The college is at a pivotal time. There have been good decisions made and steps in the right direction to improve communication. Each decision and how the decisions are made are under a microscope right now. It's time to see if the decisions being made by administration and faculty ease the frustration and tension level or increase it. I'm optimistic, and I believe we are moving in the right direction. Time will prove me correct or prove me wrong. Thank you for the opportunity to share.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. As I've mentioned before, we're going to be adjourning this meeting in memory of Chuck Hayden. But since many of you will have gone back to class or you had something in the office that needed to be done, you may not be here at that time. So Bonnie, our trustee Stefan, was the longest serving member with Trustee Hayden. So I'm asking her to give the memorial statement so that it can be read into our minutes and so that the family can know how much we thought of those years of service. And then we'll do our regular report. So Bonnie, if you'll do that, then we'll move on to our reports.
Okay. This is in remembrance of Chuck Hayden. College of the Desert has a number of dedicated advocates who have promoted the college and provided leadership over many years and in various capacities. Not one of them better exemplifies this commitment than the late Charles Hayden. Chuck Hayden became a member of the Desert Community College District's Board of Trustees in 1983 and was re-elected to that position time and again until 2012. For 29 years, he devoted much of his time and energy to the mission of the college. He was a mentor to new members of the board, as some of our current trustees can attest. He understood the role of a trustee and was always a passionate representative of his area, while also cooperative and professional with his fellow board members. To put some perspective on Chuck Hayden's tenure at College of the Desert, he worked with 6 different COD presidents. He participated in the development of the driving range, the McCallum Theater, and the Measure B bond, just to name a few. Beyond his involvement in our local college, Chuck founded the Inland Empire Community College Trustee and CEO Association, which brought together community college leaders in our region, fostering increased communication and cooperation among our region's districts. He was active in the Community College League of California and a member of the Community College Trustees Association, representing COD at the state level. As if he wasn't busy enough in education, Chuck Hayden also volunteered his time and leadership for a number of other service organizations, such as the COD Foundation Board, Food in Need of Distribution, Little League, Rotary, and St. Elizabeth's Catholic Church. College of the Desert is very fortunate to have been one of many benefactors of Chuck's interest in getting involved in local organizations and doing his part to make his community a better place. He had a very personal dedication to the philosophy of community colleges and to College of the Desert in particular. His passion motivated his leadership and guidance so that students' interests were always at the forefront of his decision-making. At Chuck's last board meeting, he told a story about why COD and education are so important to him. I want to share some of that story again. Returning students have a soft place in my heart. Students that didn't have a chance the first time, but came back a second or third time to get an education. I got interested because of Andrew. Andrew was a drug addict and an alcoholic. His family thought they lost him to that culture. It was terrible. When he was about 30, the light finally hit him, and he decided he didn't want to die. He wanted to do something. He went to the treatment and got clean and sober and got a job. He knew he needed an education, so he came to College of the Desert and took classes, got a certificate in drug alcohol abuse counseling, and then went back to work at the center where he had received treatment. But he decided things could be better for him and came back to College of the Desert, even though he was on academic probation. He completed his AA and transferred to the University of California, Riverside, graduated magna cum laude, and went to Denver Law School. He completed his education at the age of 34, passed the bar, and stayed in Colorado. He is now working in a small community in southeast Colorado as a chief deputy district attorney. Andrew was Chuck's son. After Chuck's funeral service, Andrew shared a story of his own. The nurse caring for his dad recognized Chuck for some reason. As they talked more, she realized that he had pinned her when she graduated from the nursing program here at COD. College of the Desert was a huge part of Chuck's life, and our faculty, staff, and students all benefited from his dedication to our college. All of us can be grateful to have known Chuck and enjoyed his world-famous rice pudding. On behalf of the Desert Community College District Board of Trustees, we offer our sincere condolences to Sharon, Chuck's children, and his extended family, and many friends as they adjust during this difficult time. We will be closing today's board meeting in honor of Chuck Hayden. He was a friend, a mentor, that gave his heart and soul in service to COD and the community college system. Thank you.
Thank you. I'll give you a minute to pull yourself back together, and I'm going to move out. Mary Jane, you want to begin our reports?
Just pass that over. I'll be last if I can. Thank you.
You'll be last, okay?
Thank you.
Sure. Trustee O'Neill?
Okay, thank you. I think I really feel like I should give the meeting over to Mike Hadley so he could do a selection from Les Miserables for us. For those people who are in the viewing audience, and we get a lot of YouTube hits. Have you ever checked how many people watch this on YouTube? Mike, by day, works in our IT department, and by night and weekends, he becomes a star performer, actor, musical singer. And as Matt Monica was saying, the performance we had was absolutely incredible. Mike was the lead. He was outstanding. I want to compliment him, accolades to him and to Shea Newman and Darlene Romano for their directing, to all the cast and all the crew, because the lighting, the sound, it was just an incredible performance. As Matt alluded, I too have seen a lot of productions, San Francisco, Los Angeles, New York, and this was right up there with the best of them. You all are to be deeply complimented and receive every accolade that can come your way. I wish that we could have videoed it. I know legally we can't do that because it would be something great to be able to show in the future. But I thank you all so much for all your effort. Related to that, I'd like to thank the Alumni Association for their annual luncheon prior to the performance on Sunday, and also for their support of the musical, the spring musical, by purchasing tickets for the alumni. It's a very great way to support the students and the former students. I would like to thank Carol Esquade and all the CalWorks, EOPS, and CARE staff for their recognition event a few weeks ago. That was an outstanding event. Vice President Davies was the guest speaker. It was the students, to hear their stories of what those programs have done to help them to be successful. The program doesn't make them successful, it helps them to be successful. And that was very, very moving, as student stories always are. Andrew, this is your last meeting as student trustee. He just found out this morning. He thought he was coming back like next month. So he's in a state of shock. So I just want to say, Andrew, thank you for your 2 years of service. Being a student is a full-time job. Being a student with a family adds to that burden. And being a student with a family who becomes involved in student government is even asking for much, much more work than the average student. And we appreciate all that you have done on behalf of the students, and we congratulate you and wish you well. Okay? I have two more things, and I'm probably going to run out of time because I have the foundation report, so I will ask for an extension. But I do want to comment about Chuck Hayden. I knew Chuck for 24 years. Chuck was on the board when I started. And if you knew Chuck, you know that I probably met Chuck within a month of my starting, because Chuck was, he was the type of person who would come around and meet all the new people. I've known him for a long time. We worked together when I was on the faculty, when I was president like Denise, and did many activities. And Chuck never, ever lost his interest in or love for College of the Desert. And I can say that because about maybe almost 2 months before he passed, he called me and he said, I'm hearing, he was very, very upset, very, very upset, because he was hearing all these rumors that College of the Desert was abandoning the West Valley campus and our commitment to Desert Hot Springs. And these rumors were flying around, and Chuck was just beside himself. Now, this is at a time when, to be truthful with you, Chuck was dealing with health issues and facing his imminent demise. And he was still concerned about COD. And I assured Chuck that we weren't giving up on the West Valley. And this was prior to our announcement of changing locations in the West Valley. And that's all I could say to Chuck. And it bothered me, and I couldn't violate any confidentiality rules, but I was concerned about if Chuck would survive to hear the announcement. And fortunately, he did. So I know Chuck, he's up there because it's the third Friday of the month. Where else would he be? He's here. And we all miss Chuck. Sorry, I get so emotional because I've known him for a long time. So I'm done with that part, okay? So I'll move on to the foundation. As the board's representative to the foundation, I have to do my regular report. There's some handouts that are coming your way. First of all, the board of directors of the foundation have been elected. I'm very pleased to report Donna Jean Darby is still the president. Mark Nicholson is the vice president. Suze Hunt is the treasurer. She's new. The other treasurer resigned. And Diane Marcus Gershowitz continues as secretary. On the next page of your handout, you have all the board of directors that were elected for this coming year, 2014, 2015. The next 4 pages is listed as the table of contents. That is the table of contents for the manual, the operations manual that the foundation has developed. For those trustees who were around 2 years ago, There was an audit finding that recommended that our foundation have an operations manual. That finding was somewhat repeated last year, even though the operations manual was in process. That has now been completed. It has been adopted by the foundation board at their meeting 3 weeks ago. So that is now complete and operational. And that was reviewed by a blue ribbon task force. I think, Dr. Kinnaman, you were part of that too, weren't you? And our former president, Dr. Cronin, was on that. So we're very sure that the operations manual is quite functional and covers all aspects that are needed to be covered. The last few pages is a summary of the foundation's financial situation to date. As Jan mentioned, the 30/30 campaign has brought in over $3.5 million, and I think they're still counting money. Excuse me. One of the great things is that the entire board of the foundation contributed. Every name you see on that page had made a contribution. And for some reason I'm losing my voice. And that is an unusual situation in most foundations. And these individuals, on top of their already giving, gave more, including. So, as has been said today, and as I have said in previous months, we owe these individuals a great deal of gratitude. When I look around at those meetings, I'm in awe of people who really don't need to do what they are doing. They could very easily be on their private jet somewhere doing something else. And what they're doing is giving of their time, their energy, and their money to the college, to the students. And they're not only giving of themselves, but they're also going out and gathering more and contacting people and businesses and groups that they know. It's just a monumental group of people, and I can't express how much I appreciate the year I'm having with them to get to know them better. So I wanted to close with that comment, and if there's any questions from the board about anything from the foundation.
I have a question, just to maybe give to the audience. When is the next meeting that the foundation will be having, so people kind of know where and when they meet?
The last meeting of the season is in the last Wednesday of the month, and it will be in this room, and it's at 3:30. The general meeting's at 3:30. Okay? The foundation will go dark for June, July, and August. All right? And I'm finished. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. And thank you for following up with all those reports from the foundation. It helps us know what's happening, and it really sets a good precedent for our trustee that represents us on that board. So I thank you for that.
Thank you.
So Trustee Wilson?
Well, my report's going to be a little bit different this month, Madam Chair. I cannot believe that it has been a year this month that I have served as board trustee for College of the Desert. What an honor it has been to not only represent my area, which is District 4, which is Rancho Mirage, Palm Desert, Indian Wells, and La Quinta, but the Coachella Valley as a whole. I want to thank my board colleagues and student trustee Campbell for making the wise and unanimous decision it did last May to appoint me to this position. This is not an easy job, but I want to thank my colleagues for helping me in the transition. You, Michael, Becky, Bonnie, and Mary Jane have all taken the time to assist in bringing me up to speed. President Kinnaman and his staff have also taken the time to work with me so that I can understand the local and state challenges facing College of the Desert. And a special shout out to Donna Jean Darby, the COD Foundation president, and staff for taking the time to help me understand the functions and great work of the foundation. I truly thank you all for your hard work and commitment to COD. I've spent the year really entrenching myself into this community college and understanding its impact to the Coachella Valley. I have walked this campus and met with numerous people, including teachers, students, attended student club meetings, walked in parades, appreciated and enjoyed the campus arts, theater, and the music, met with Faculty Senate, the CSEA, the Alumni Association, attended foundation meetings, foundation events, and attended Community College League of California conferences. I've also attended Chamber of Commerce meetings, city events, and local events like the Indio Campus Beam signing, Public Safety Academy graduations, nurse pinning, and attended my first commencement last year, and I look forward to attending this year's. I've met some wonderful and very dedicated people here, and it's really a joy for me to hear from people on campus who come up and introduce themselves to me because they want to tell me what a pleasure it was to know my late husband. I work closely with the cities in my district to keep them up to date on COD activities so that they can put my name and face with COD. This is a tough job. I read everything. I ask questions. Leanne, who's not here today, now keeps a fly swatter in her office on hand to use on me when I come in. And I think Joel gave it to her. I've had to make the tough decisions, but for me, made with an appreciation that it is the people that work here that make COD the success that it is, as well as looking at the bigger picture, considering state impacts to local programs, and weighing the future of our students and making sure that we are meeting their needs and the needs of our communities. All in all, it's been an exciting and exhausting first year, and an honor to be on this board, and I look forward to serving for a long time to come. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Trustee Wilson, and thank you for reminding us what a robust community the College of the Desert is and how we continually reach out to the community at large. Student Trustee Campbell, would you give us your report? It's sad that we hear this last report, but I'm thinking it's not the last we're going to hear from you, so.
No, it won't. It's pretty shocking coming in not knowing that today's my last board meeting, but as you said, I will be around here, probably at the comment booth instead. I'm gonna miss everyone. I first gotta start thank my advisor Carlos Maldonado. He dealt with me for 2 years, so bless his soul. I also want to thank Joel Kinnaman. We came in at the same time. We dealt with a lot of difficult situations, and he pushed forward, and he's making a good impact on this college. So thank you, Joel Kinnaman. I have to thank all my board members. You know, y'all are amazing. Truthfully, when I first walked into this environment, it's scary. It's really scary to be up here at the Board of Trustees. You have all these individuals that are well-rounded, been here for a long time, been here for like 10 to 12 years. That's a lot of years. I mean, I'm just coming in as a new student trustee going on my second year, still trying to learn the routes. And there's something new every year. I mean, you learn that we come across the same things every year, but there's always going to be something new that can be in a roadblock with COD. But the thing we need to do is always push forward and know that we need to keep communication, make sure we know we're a family. And this is my family right here, and I recognize what Aaron Bonner was saying, Aries, all the people that left before me as trustees, that you will realize they're not a threat. They're basically your team players, and as long as we stay working together, this college will keep moving forward. O'Neill, I really good chair. I really appreciate everything you did. Communicated with me, tell me what I need to work on. Becky Bonner, always have something to add into your comments. I mean, I really love your how you share your reports. It could be that day you're talking about. It could be the holiday or something, but you have something to let someone know. Hey, we put a smile on your face. We're here at the board meeting. We're here for 5 hours, but we need to get through and get done. It's a happy day. And Mary J, was good working with you too. I mean, you came through communicating with a lot of students, and you seem like you're passionate. You want to get stuff done, so I appreciate that. And Royal Wilson, I see a bright future for you. So thank you. Thank you all your board members, and thank all my administrators over here too.
It's scary for us too.
I mean, I have a lot more to say. I can keep talking, but
being a student trustee is a very difficult job. Part of the pleasure of being an elected trustee is we get to be mentors. Sometimes we serve as a good example, and sometimes we serve as a not as good example, but you can learn from it all.
Yeah, you do.
Trustees that have gone before you, we hear back from, so we hope to hear you as you progress through the next chapters of your life. I heard from Aaron Bonner recently, who is very happy because he's going to graduate from UC Davis. And we're very selfish. We claim that success is partially ours because we hope that we added something good to your learning experience. And I can see that you're growing into a leader, a good leader, and it was time well spent. So we thank you for all your hard work,
Thank you.
and we hope that you'll carry us with you.
I will. Appreciate it.
I'd like to say something very special. Trustee Campbell, having come on board 2 years ago like yourself, you've done not an outstanding job getting all the students here at the College of the Desert through your leadership and through your mentorship. So many of our students have commented on how you mentor them with all your experience. So you are a leader, not your, you are a leader right now. And we're hoping so many great things for the Coachella Valley when you return and when you because I know you wanted to go to a couple of universities, but not only for the College of the Desert, you've been an outstanding leader, but also for the California student leadership, you've been very involved. And I just want to thank you for representing College of the Desert as a student trustee and the state of California as well in your many endeavors. Good luck on all you do. Thank you for your time and your service.
Thank you.
Thank
Mary
you.
Jane. Appreciate that.
Mary Jane, you want to give your report now?
I thought I was last.
Well, you can. It's Bonnie and you and me, so
Oh,
you want to?
go ahead.
Okay.
Okay. On a much more different scale, I wanted to give a report that I thought would be interesting today. This last week, I had the opportunity to finally attend the art show at the Mark Center before it closed. And I was so happy that I had that opportunity. Not only did I have the opportunity to see our student scholarship winners, but I also ran into Donna Jean Darby, taking someone around, representing not only the foundation, but the college to its best interest, and showing them the Mark Center and what our students can produce, and being able to hear, while I'm observing my artwork there, the comments from the public. So that was very, very interesting and very nice to see that going on. It shows that people work behind the scenes, not when we're watching them or when we necessarily see them, but they're doing things besides what we are able to witness or what they tell us about. And that's often the case. At the art show, I was overwhelmed by 2 photographs. And if any of you went there, you will probably remember these 2 photographs. One was of a young man and a young woman sitting around 2 candles. And they moved me.
Yeah,
I hadn't read the story, but they moved me. And I looked at the one next to it. They're black and whites. And it was 5 children and a mother around a table, on one side of a table, with a candle. And then I noticed the little bio story thing there that the author writes. And I was so moved, I started reading that. And before I finished, I was in tears. It was of one of our students. He started out saying that he was ashamed to tell his story behind these photos. And I thought no one should be ashamed of the journey they have to travel. And I hope that none of our students are. And going to transfer recognitions and going to the TRIO event last night and going to some of the retirements and some of the other programs that I've been to this past month, I thought all of these students' speeches that I listen to, where I hear what these students have endured. Some of them don't sound too bad, but you have to remember the footsteps that they're walking in. And I remember thinking when I was reading that bio and crying that this student had to make a decision whether to get the electricity turned on for him and his family or to continue at COD, and he chose the tougher decision. He chose his future, COD. And I want to thank all of the college community, not just our staff and our faculty and our administration and the Board of Trustees, but our full College of the Desert community. That means the entire community at large, our alumni, our foundation, all of our academic organizations that we have and professional organizations that we have on campus, and even the other community service organizations out in the community. Because if it were not for all of us, that student would not have been able to stand on that decision. Can you imagine? It isn't just a matter of getting the money to pay the bill. It's the money to also get it turned back on, and I think you have to pay in some areas. I know in my area, you have to pay a month in advance once it's been turned off. And that's what he was saying I had to choose, and he chose COD. So I want to thank everyone in the community, all over, for helping our students as much as we can. His family came to his rescue. I don't think people realized what was going on, but to make that decision, our students deserve a big gratitude, because this has been a very, very happy week for me, these last 2 weeks here at COD, because I've seen all these successes, but also thinking about all of what our students endure to achieve that and what our community does to support our students. I offer all of you a big thank you. Thank you.
Mary Jane?
Thank you. First of all, I want to thank our faculty and staff for putting on these wonderful ceremonies. It takes, people don't understand how long it takes to put on each of these events, especially the upcoming graduation. These are unsung heroes. Our faculty and staff are always our unsung heroes. I had the privilege of staying very late last night, and I saw that we have faculty that stay even at all hours of the night, just on their own time. Just this dedication and staff, I'm so humbled and honored to be around people so dedicated here at the College of the Desert that work so hard for us, the students, and for our community. Wanted to congratulate the class of 2014 for their upcoming graduation, and I very look forward next week. So congratulations for the class of 2014 that will be graduating from the College of the Desert. And something that was very especially glorious was going to the funeral at St. Elizabeth's Church. As a member of the Women's Guild of St. Elizabeth's Church, we were very touched because Chuck and I belong to the same church. We belong to the same Rotary. So Chuck, I met him about, I want to say, about 7 years ago. So I'm very touched that we do honor him and his service to the College of the Desert. And I hope to share and bring that joy and represent the community that we now serve. So I just want to take a moment and thank. Also want to mention that last week I attended the announcement of Congressman Ruiz, and it was a wonderful opportunity how these public and private partnerships will be affecting, as Trustee Stefan said, the whole community region. So it was wonderful to see that we're all collaborating in the Coachella Valley, and it was a Renewable Job Act that we will be partnering with the congressman, with other businesses, and with our students. So college readiness, and this is going to help a lot for our community. Also want to mention what a beautiful performance, Mike. I wanted to get your autograph. It was just amazing. Just like all of us, everybody having seen that performance in New York and in San Francisco, it is the most beautiful, just awesome performance I have ever seen. It was just amazing. Just the depth. Everybody in the audience were just astounded. You had everyone in the palm of your hands, just with your beautiful and eloquent voice that just showered us and touched us with your presence.
He's blushing.
So it was just wonderful, genuinely. I just to make us shine in this level. I hope we don't leave you to New York. Broadway is looking for those that anybody is seeing. This man is just someone that needs to be in Broadway. Wanted to just kind of talk about something that is very dear to my heart. I've always been an admirer of Franklin Delano Roosevelt, one of our dear presidents of the United States. So what we're doing out in our district that we serve is something what we call trustee chats. And what are they? Trustee chats, we're partnering with the Desert Hot Springs Family Resource Center, Palm Springs Unified. And every month we meet with families and students that have any questions for the trustees. So it's something that we're doing once a month, and it's called Trustee Chats. And we're going to the different communities and partnering with the different unified school districts and resource centers. So it's been a wonderful talking to families in Spanish and in English. And we've been having such a great turnout. It's so wonderful to meet with families that are just so grateful that someone talks to them about going to college, and wanted to kind of implement something that has come to my attention was their fear. There's still a fear of going to college. So that's something that I hope we address as a college, that we need to still, it's 2014 and we still have students that are just afraid to have that conversation of going to college. So that still is prevalent in our communities that we serve here a lot. You know, it's amazing, but the families are still very afraid to send their students to college, and the students themselves just, we need to maybe kind of address that. It's scary to know. That's something that I came across. Wanted to mention, I attended my first RD, Madam Chair, may I just extend that? I'm sorry. I attended the first RDA Successor Agency Oversight Board meeting at Desert Hot Springs. Very fascinating. Trustees, I will give you copies so you can see what's going on, and I will explain a little more about that maybe at a future meeting, what that means for our community college district. Another thing, another item wanted to mention, I really want to thank the Coachella Valley Water District and the Metropolitan Water District for allowing me to go on the Colorado River Aqueduct inspection tour and educating us about how important water is. They promised that they would give a presentation to the college about the resources that are available from the water district. So I just want to thank, attended an inspection of our aqueduct system here. So that was very fascinating. Also attended the, as well, the CalWorks Academic Recognition Ceremony, which was very touching. The ACES, the TRIO program. Since I am a product of the EOP program and TRIO program, it's so important for these students to have these programs in place. So it was just such a wonderful, and kind of reminded me how important to keep these programs for our students. It's because of them we're all here, and that's who we serve. We're here to serve you, the college, and I always remind them that we're here, you're our customer, and we're here to serve you. So congratulations, our beautiful students, our faculty, staff. Have a beautiful summer, all of us, and health to all. Thank you so much. Thank you. That ends my report.
Thank you. I'll be brief so that we can move on. I would like to remind you the procedural thing that our early closed session was scheduled to last a little longer than usual, so this session will run until 1, when we'll have an hour recess where we'll go to closed session and you guys can go to lunch. So those of you that are thinking, oh, we're running on and on, no, not really. It's the way it was planned. This is a wonderful month. May is our opportunity to see success. May is our opportunity to watch our students that are coming to us from K-12, to watch that progression, to watch the younger ones begin to queue up because, hey, look, my big brother, my big sister, my cousin is graduating and going on to college. It's our opportunity to reach out to the community. We do that as trustees by attending various community events where, such as the Ophelia event, where you see these students that are moving on, coming to our college, going to other colleges. Our life is about opening doors, and opening doors so that others can pass through. This is our chance to see it happen. So as we attend every celebration that we can. I want you to know that whether we can truly be there in body or only in spirit, we are thanking you, the staff, the faculty, every person that's involved, because it truly takes us all to make it work. Andrew, I thank you for your time that you've spent as a trustee. And you're right, you and Joel came about the same time. Joel, I thank you for your time and effort and your leadership team's time and effort to look at our college and to help us move forward so that we can serve more members of our community at large, more effectively while working together better as a college community. Because we are truly, as I've said before, we're truly a community. Only when we're working together. We're a family, we can have disputes, but we need to settle them, find our direction, and then move on together. That's what I admire about this board, is that we may not think alike all the time, but that if we were playing Candyland, we all know where we're headed, okay? There's no doubt about it. So as we move forward and we attend those events, know that we are celebrating with you. As an educator, we know there's different types of assessments. I'm a biologist, that's that whole story, and then there's these wonderful, talented people. Part of that are talented in the fine arts. So part of our success and our lifelong learning is enjoying wonderful musicals that were put on just very, very well. Having people that have experience in those fields mentor those that haven't had as much experience. The performers and the directors work together to bring that performance out of those children, literally children, out of those students, and out of people that had been our students that came back. So that was a shining example of us working as a community. Again, the foundation, the Alumni Association helping to support that financially, that adds to this feeling, of this uplifting feeling. Our retirement ceremony where we say goodbye to old friends, I'm thinking we're not saying goodbye to some of them, but we're saying we'll see you in a different job soon, and we look forward to working with you again. But we have to stop and say thank you to each and every one for all the many years and the effort that they gave to us. And it's their commencement. They're looking forward to the next chapter of their life. Just as those students that walk across the stage, it's the beginning of the next chapter of their life. Now to those of us who will still be here at the end of June, it's also an opportunity for us to work forward, to move forward, to not be static, and to continue to improve the school, because each of us, and I'm looking at the audience that's watching this, I'm looking at those of us that are here, we all are working toward the same thing. We're working for what the cliche may be student success, but it's more than that. We truly are looking for the success of these students. So it's my opportunity to say thank you for that. In retrospect, looking back to Chuck and saying thank you to him for those services. Pam has been kind enough to help celebrate that life by making the famous Hayden rice pudding, and it will be here after our lunch break. So we'll all have an opportunity to sample that famous pudding. So thank you all for a wonderful year, for a wonderful school year. We look forward to those we won't see. We look forward to seeing you in the fall. And we'll be working here all summer, so y'all come now, you hear? Thank you. Joe.
That sounded a little Oklahoma.
Yeah, a little further south than that, but
Yeah.
whatever, yes.
All right. Thank you. I appreciate all your comments about so many positive things and some of our losses that we've experienced. And I am going to stay away from those so I don't get into an emotional state of any kind. I would like to also thank Andrew for his time that he's been serving with us. we had an interesting period together the past couple of years, and a lot of different issues, and I appreciate your counsel with me during some of those times, so thank you. I listened to the remarks, and, it does sound kind of cliche when we say student success and everything and what that means. And again, we rolled out a 24-month agenda for student success, and, you really, as we look at the meat of that, it really tells us what it means. I mean, the majority of us, I believe, around this table are first-generation students. Many of us from very humble to probably even poor or poverty levels whenever we began here on this lovely planet. And so we've moved through a lot of challenges, understand the barriers that we have encountered, not necessarily all the barriers that our students encounter, but we certainly understand how challenging that is. And then when you look at our faculty and our staff, they have similar characteristics. And so it is really important for all of us to go back to the essence of that and look through that lens for when we were trying to move forward and think about our students, because that's where they're at. And I caution us from getting in the way of one another, because when we get in the way of one another, we get in their way. And so if we can somehow come together through dialogue on ways that we can best serve our students, then there's going to be a lot more that have successes like all of us. And it's been, I know, a blessing of a journey for me. Not anything that I ever dreamed possible whenever I was starting out. And I know several of the people at this table that can say the same thing, and probably throughout our college. So if we can go back to that place whenever we're having conversations on how to serve our students, and think about, just think about your own journey, or think about your brother's journey. We'll talk more about that later, Denise. But Denise has a great story about her brother. And that really will take us to the root of the discussion of what matters and how we should be aligning ourselves moving forward. That was not supposed to be any of my report today, but I offer you that. I have some other stuff that's in my report that I'm going to go to real quick. I'm glad the timer's not on. 3 students, Rossi Nayatal, Dumont Scholarship. In 2010, I started a journey to achieve a dream of becoming an architect. As I got further into my studies, I found the love for not only architecture, but for art too. I discovered a talent I didn't know I had. In the last year, I have been faced with very difficult family issues that have made me even stronger and more motivated to reach my goals. When I finish here at College of the Desert in the spring of 2015, I will be moving on to San Diego State University to work on a bachelor's degree in interior design. After completing my bachelor's degree, I am moving on to Cal Poly Pomona to get a master's in architecture. Art was a passion that was hidden in me. I have lots to be grateful for, and I have College of the Desert to thank for that. First, for putting me in contact with 3 of the most amazing professors I have ever known, Mr. Batanga, Ms. Cole, and Ms. Cook. These professors have had an enormous influence on my studies. They truly believe that I am able to accomplish my goals and that they see talent in me. I am a single mother of 7 children, and I have dedicated my studies to them. I have a great responsibility to all of these people in my life, and I cannot let them down. They are the reason I get up every morning and go to school to complete my assignments. Thanks to this scholarship, I have been able to continue school with less worries of how to make ends meet. Scholarships not only help me in my studies, but also help my family. With my education, I will be paving the way for my children to follow. Kenny Chavez, Hilmer Toole Scholarship. Kenny Chavez lost his job and decided to return to school to retool his career. College of the Desert's heating, ventilation, air conditioning, and refrigeration program was his choice as he embarked on his lifelong interest in that field. He noticed a brochure advertising the Hillmore Tool Scholarship application, which required an essay. Kenny decided to write a poem instead. He titled it A Midlife Crisis. I love that. Here's a few lines. Losing my job was the loss of my dream, a midlife crisis tooled to the utmost extreme. The story doesn't end here, just wait and see. School is molding HVAC's next contractor to be. My future I once feared, I fear no more. I will retool and conquer it with tools from Hillmore.
Love it.
Okay. The poem and the application stood out from the rest of the 550 applications received from around the United States, and Kenny was chosen as one of the 3 grand prize finalists. He was awarded a $10,000 scholarship, an HVAC and R starter kit of tools, a trip to the 2014 Air Conditioning, Heating, Refrigeration Exposition, and a Hillmore green wall of tools totaling $5,000 donated to College of the Desert. Kenny is now motivated to keep studying and get his C20 contractor's license. Norris Paul. As a child, College of the Desert alumnus Norris Paul found all the motivation he needed facing adversity growing up in Palm Springs Section 14 ghetto. After graduating from Palm Springs High School, Norris worked a year before joining the United States Air Force. For the next 5 years, Norris served mostly in Spain as an air policeman, where an accident left him partially disabled. Upon returning to Palm Springs, Norris enrolled at College of the Desert. It was very hard for me to get in. I had to take some remedial classes initially and had to petition to be admitted. Norris said I attempted to get financial help, but this was before the COD Foundation even existed. Norris completed 70 units at the college and in 1968 transferred to San Bernardino State when he graduated with a degree in sociology and a minor in Spanish. In 1971, he took a job with the Riverside County Probation Department. Norris retired as a senior probation officer for Riverside County more than 15 years ago, but he continues to find the motivation he needs to hit the gym every morning, practice his guitar lessons, acoustic and electric, tend to his vegetable garden, work on a project or two underway at all times in the wood shop, and then there's Maha, his German Shepherd, who gets 2 good walks a day. I want to go live there. In 2013, Norris came back to COD with a gift designed to motivate minority students to pursue higher education. The gift was inspired by a friendship Norris formed with former COD Foundation Executive Director Gene House via an early job out of college. As you can imagine, this is a quote, as you can imagine, the work of the foundation came up in my conversation with Gene. I wanted to give back to the college while I am around to see the good it will do, the lives it will change. The Norris Paul $50,000 endowed scholarship was established in April 2013 and is open to full-time minority students studying in any discipline with a minimum GPA of 2.5. I am honored to give back to the college, which gave so much to me, and encourage alumni and others to step up to help change lives. And I only have one more thing in my report, and that is a video. Thank you.
Yeah, good.
Yes. Yeah. Why doesn't he?
We're heartbroken.
I think when you look around the Coachella Valley at the various industries, you'll clearly find that not one of them is untouched by students and alumni from the College of the Desert. There are nurses, there are hospitality workers, there are the paramedics and police officers, and a wide range of people in business that help make up this great place that we have. Well, I think our support of this year's recipient in particular is a great example of what we envisioned back in 1994, to have someone who is an aspiring student that wants to be in the golf industry and is learning at College of the Desert, but also has a lifetime love of it.
Growing up with my dad, working with him in Matthew's business, working around the golf courses, grabbed my attention, and that's when I decided to continue going to COD to pursue my career in forest management and horticulture.
By nurturing your own industry, it just makes sense that the next generation of workforce will be well-trained and ready to go when we need them. I don't think this economy can thrive and continue to grow unless we do that. So I think everyone needs to look at what their role is.
For me, being able to see a national golf course that I enjoy playing in and seeing other people enjoy playing, it makes me happy.
The Arnold Palmer Scholarship was established in 1994 by Desert Classic Charities, and that's the host organization that runs the Humana Challenge.
Receiving the Arnold Palmer Scholarship has really meant a lot. It has helped me out a lot financially with my books and fees.
I was 20 years old, working right here in the women's locker room at Bighorn Golf Club. They gave me my first scholarship to go to College of the Desert.
Ernie Ball's been around for over 50 years. We manufacture electric guitars and basses, guitar strings, and accessories, and we sell all over the world.
Since then, I graduated College of the Desert with my Associates of Arts in Business Administration. College of the Desert gave me the confidence to believe in myself. The Bighorn Scholarship gave me the confidence that other people believed in me too.
Right now we have 2 students who we provide scholarships to College of the Desert, one of which his mother is a graveyard supervisor here, and she is so excited that her son has been provided an opportunity that maybe she couldn't have provided on her own.
I started at College of the Desert 35 years ago in this position. We basically help the veterans, help get their GI Bill, get their classes, advise them on what they need to take.
Well, growing up, I didn't, everybody goes to school right after high school. And I didn't have the tools necessary to do that. So I ended up joining the Marine Corps. I ended up doing 20 years total in the Marine Corps. And when I retired, my first priority was to go back to school and finish what I started.
Well, 1968 was not the best year to be out of school and not have that education deferment. And so I was drafted. So I was in Vietnam for 9 months, 17 days, 3 hours and 22 minutes, but I didn't really keep track of the time. My experience in Vietnam led to my actually getting my education. And that turned out to be a fairly important thing in my life, in our lives.
I've been through a lot of different eras of the military and their service. We're blessed that in this day and age, the country is so much more veteran friendly and thankful for veterans than it used to be.
The Veterans Resource Center has been a place where a lot of us veterans can come and kind of we can hang out with each other. It's a tough leaving the military. It's a really culture shock coming back into the civilian world, reintegrating.
We have a part-time counselor that helps us now, and we're hoping to someday make that into a full-time position. There is a need.
Dale and I are, I think, just thrilled to be doing what we're doing. We tend to do it anonymously, but we were persuaded to speak out this time because we would so love other people to step up. We may be the first, but I sure hope we're not going to be the last.
The Land and Family Scholarship has meant a great deal to me. Being the first one to receive this scholarship, it feels good inside that someone felt that I was worthy of it.
Well, I give Jean all the credit for getting me involved in the college because she has been very interested in it all the years that she was in Palm Springs.
The day that they inaugurated our building, the Film Student Center, and that was probably the best memory that we have. We felt that the college was better qualified than we to determine what to do with the funds that we donated. And so our gift was unrestricted.
It's interesting to have this interview in this building because this is where it all started.
Growing up, I came from a fire family.
watching my father through his career, I understood the importance of education. As I entered my career, I found that I too needed education.
My day started at 3:30 in the morning, cleaning toilets and sweeping a parking lot at a fast food restaurant in town. At noon, I would go to an apartment complex and cut the grass and do the maintenance for the building. At 5 p.m., I would come to the ESL classes. From 5 to 8, I would go home. 9:30, I was in bed. 2:45, I was up to go back to the fast food restaurant to continue working.
COD gave me that opportunity to advance my career and gain the education I needed to now ultimately obtaining the position of fire chief.
I remember it very clear. And I think I've only thought about it like 6 or 7 times in the last 30 years. I was cleaning toilets at that fast food restaurant. It was close to 4 o'clock. They opened to the public at 6. By that time, everything had to be cleaned. Toilets, parking lot, tables, grill. And I cried.
Having this local opportunity in the Coachella Valley allows me to not only encourage my employees to take classes here in the valley, but it also allows people from all 9 cities to enter into the fire service where they may not have the means to travel long distances.
So I decided that I was going to learn English, get better with my accent, be more sociable so I could get customers to give me better tips. I decided to stay because at that point I wanted to play soccer.
Well, now I have the opportunity to give back to COD, being on their fire advisory board and allowing input from myself and other fire chiefs throughout the valley for the fire program at COD.
So at the end of my playing years, I had 48 units under my belt, and they told me you can graduate and get a bachelor's. No, they said that you can get a BS degree. I went to Placer LA, I finished my bachelor's degree, and I came back to the desert as soon as I was done. And I wanted to be a part of COD.
By the time I got to high school, I could barely read, I could barely write. It was definitely challenging during that time.
After graduating high school, I found that COD was a great place to go and get started. I wasn't sure at that time exactly what I wanted to do or where I wanted to specialize in. So I went to COD, took a few classes in different areas of business, and started to make a plan of where I wanted to go after that.
When I came to COD, I was scared. I thought for sure I was going to fail everything. But when I made an appointment with DSS and I talked to the counselors there and they told me about their labs and their tutors and how they have special equipment, I was like, well, maybe there is some hope. Maybe I could do something.
Receiving the scholarship from COD was really the confidence boost that I needed. And it felt great to know that there was other people believing in me, and then it really helped me believe in myself and persevere through all the hard work and the study.
I remember the first time I met my guitar instructor here at COD. I walked into the classroom and the way he played the guitar was amazing. It was beautiful. One of the most beautiful things I ever heard. That's what I want to do. That's my life. That's my love. That's my passion. That's what I desire to do.
At Pepperdine University, I got my bachelor's degree in business administration, and afterwards I found my way back home here in the desert, and it was great to be back.
What they have done, what COD and the foundation has done, is not only give people like myself an opportunity to pursue their education, but they gave people hope.
Very nice. Very nice. Very nice. Very well done. Very well done.
So, student success in some venues may be a cliche, but not at College of the Desert. So, thank you.
And we thank you as well as all of those members of this community that keep that term fresh so that we continue to move forward opening the doors. We have like 2 minutes. Is it the pleasure of the board to begin the consent agenda or to recess for closed session? We'll recess. So we'll recess. We'll be back at 2 o'clock. See you then. We are back from closed session. I thank you for your indulgence. There was no action to report out of this closed session, and just to be clear, we also had no action at the earlier session to report out. I believe I said that, but in case I didn't, we've got it now. So the next item on our agenda is the consent agenda. All items on the consent agenda will be considered for approval by a single vote without discussion. Any board member may request that an item be pulled from the consent agenda to be discussed and considered separately in the action agenda. Do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented?
So move. Second.
Okay. We have a motion and a second on the floor. I have a request from the audience. I have a request to speak briefly to one of the items on the agenda. Laura?
Just wanted to take a brief moment to talk about the item regarding retirement. And I wanted to, first of all, thank Dr. Kinnaman and administration for the new prioritization process that has been working as a brand new thing, but it was an excellent opportunity for all who took part, and I'm grateful for being a part of that, to take a look at all the positions for staffing and the importance that they might be to the institution. On a separate note, I just wanted to, again, encourage that these positions be filled as soon as possible, because although we are very happy for those who are retiring, there's a lot of work left, and then as I turn and look at our HR representative, they have a lot of work to do. So just, I want to take a brief moment to say, to please let's try to get these all organized and prioritized. And there were one or two that were left out because there are so many, and I hope that those won't be forgotten, because we do need groundskeepers and other such staff to continue with the work of the college. So thank you for the opportunity. And again, thank you, Dr. Kinnaman, for your leadership with that. We've seen great things happen with the prioritization process for faculty, and now I'm very excited that we're doing that in a very collegial and shared governance focused way for all the other needs of the college and for all of us to do. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, we have a motion and we have a motion and a second. Is there any, and there, no one asked to remove an item. So, student trustee, see? Took me 2 years, but you trained me. Student trustee?
Aye.
All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstain? I hear that as a unanimous vote. Action item, there were no items pulled from the agenda, so we move into the Board of Trustees, Resolution 05-1614-1, in appreciation for the College of the Desert Foundation. This is a resolution that President Kinnaman read in full earlier. Do I have a motion to approve the resolution?
So moved. Second.
I have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion?
I really want to thank Donna Jean Darby for all of her hard work, not just on this, but for everything she's been doing for the college for all the years that she's been involved. It's such dedication, but this was really one of the best campaigns, and the foundation should be congratulated because what an undertaking, you know, to set that high a goal and set the bar that high and then achieve it. They really need to be thanked.
I also want to commend the College of Foundation staff for their dedication as well. They do the day-to-day operations, so I want to give make sure that they get that commendation.
Any other comments?
Basically, just I really want to thank the foundation on behalf of the students, because I know the students are going to be the one that's going to be affected with the money. Sorry, I was away from the microphone. Didn't notice that. But thank you for taking the time, and I know they're eager to bring more money because I know that that's the last thing I heard them comment about. So thank you for the foundation and the staff of the faculty foundation.
So this is a resolution, and it's a roll call vote.
Okay. Trustee Campbell.
Aye.
Trustee O'Neill.
Aye.
Trustee Wilson.
Aye.
Trustee Sanchez.
Definitely aye.
Trustee Stefan.
Aye.
Trustee Broughton.
Aye. Passes unanimously. Rice pudding is quite delicious, so don't forget we have rice pudding over there. Thank you, Pam. Administrative Services, Resolution 05-1614-3, Budget Adjustments. Do I have a motion to approve the
Excuse me.
resolution as presented?
You missed,
Did I not read it?
one, Trustee,
Did I miss something?
the Consolidated
Okay.
Governing Board election.
Yeah, I just
Yes,
skipped it.
I
I'm
was-
trying to ignore that part. That's what it is. I turned the page too fast. Thank you. Consolidated Governing Board Member Biennial Election Resolution 15-1614-2. See, I got ahead. Do I have a motion to approve this resolution?
So move.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Roll call vote?
Trustee Campbell.
Aye.
Trustee O'Neill.
Aye.
Trustee Wilson.
Aye.
Trustee Sanchez.
Roadrunner aye.
Trustee Stefan.
Aye.
Trustee Broughton.
Aye. I hear that as a unanimous vote. See, now we're getting to the one I wanted to get to. Administrative Services, Resolution 15-1614-3, Budget Adjustments. Do I have a motion to approve the resolution as presented?
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, roll call
I
vote.
do have a question.
Oh, you do have a question.
All of
Okay.
this funding is coming in through the Proposition 39 funding. There's nothing coming out of our general fund.
All of the adjustments that are brought to you today are either through categorical programs. That's the Adult Education Planning Grant is a categorical, and the Prop 39, the Workforce Program. And then the other Prop 39 is to actually do energy efficiency projects on campus here.
Okay.
I have a question as well. Have we submitted the May 15th, well, it was yesterday. Did we submit any additional for that May 15th for the alternate, for that?
Yeah, and I'll
Thank
let,
you.
I ask Steve Renew to
Thank you very
address that.
much. I'd love to get an update.
Yes, we did. We submitted a week ago.
Thank you.
For additional lighting and controls on the lighting on the PPs.
Is that on there?
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you.
I believe it's a roll call vote.
Trustee Campbell.
Aye.
Trustee O'Neill.
Aye.
Trustee Wilson.
Aye.
Trustee Sanchez.
Commending the class of 2014, aye.
Trustee Stefan.
Aye.
Trustee Broughton.
Aye. 2013, 2014, CCFS 311 Quarterly Financial Status Report. Do I have a motion to approve the status report as presented?
So move.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a few seconds. Is there any discussion? Any questions?
Did we have someone go over this last month, or was this? Don't we usually have someone that goes over this?
We can.
Yeah, can we have them go over that, please?
Certainly. Fortunately, we've got John Ramont here with us today, and John, do you mind going over this report a little bit for us?
No, not at all. Thank you,
Okay.
Dr. Kenneman and Madam Chair and Board and Cabinet. This is a quarterly report, and this is for our results through March 31st. And I believe Lisa last time kind of talked to you about how the adopted budget, we hadn't made any changes all the way through. Well, in the last quarter, we've had a chance to kind of analyze expenses and things like that. And so in our projected actuals, they are different than what was originally brought into budget, because they're more in line with what we're projecting to actually be, to be actual for the end of the year. So the budget actually had a bit of a deficit in it of about $1.1 million prior to, but as we're getting to the end of the year, we project that it's probably going to go away. We typically don't spend everything that's budgeted, especially in our materials and supplies. Everything's really pretty much on track. There's nothing unusual sticking out. So like I said, as we finish out the end of the year, there's usually some money that drops out, whether it's due to vacant positions that have been through the year, or material and supplies, things that weren't purchased and things like that. And this was our first chance to really look at it. And the way we're on track, it looks like we won't have a deficit for this year in our actual spending. And to describe a deficit, you hear that word a lot, and it's not always real clear what it means. And I like to keep things very simple. It's really like a household. You have money that comes in, your expenditures, and if there's money left over, you have a surplus. If you spent more than you took in, you have a deficit. If you have enough in your savings account to cover that, well, that's okay and it's planned, but you can't do that forever. And so as we're building the budget and as we're looking at how things are coming in, as we're analyzing things, we're always watching that one line that says that is the change to fund balance, or kind of the net results. And so that's what tells us, are we living within our means or are we overspending? And that's where we kind of watch. Our reserves are our savings account, and that savings account, once we spend it, it's gone. So what we're trying to watch for is, if we are living within our means and there's extra money, that's ongoing money that can be used for things going on further. But right now, we're projecting right at just to be essentially at the break even. Having said that, we didn't change any of the revenue projections. We don't have enough information yet. And it does look like we'll probably get a little bump in revenues at the end of the year. So in that case, it would wipe out that deficit and maybe have a little bit of a surplus in there. But, all in all, we have healthy fund balance, and then the budget seems to be in check. So, we're in healthy financial condition.
I have a related question. I've heard where the colleges in Northern California are under-enrolled, and they're not going to meet, many of them aren't going to meet their cap. Is that going to help us with incoming funds, because we're above cap?
I'm gonna ask Ms. Davies to address that a little bit, but one thing I do want to say is in the governor's proposal,
Yes.
his revised,
Yeah.
he revised it down a little bit, so I think he heard that Northern California is going to be a little short too.
Yeah, and it's a really good question, Trustee O'Neill. The position that we are in right now is we are definitely on track to reach our base, including our growth for the academic year 13-14. We have, through the hard work of department chairs and deans, developed a summer schedule of approximately 500 FTES, or about 125 sections if you use averages. That FTES will allow us to capture growth which may come available for fiscal year 13-14 as a result of other colleges not achieving their base in growth, because the Chancellor's Office does often redistribute those dollars to colleges that have unfunded FTES. So we're in a position to capture additional growth this year, which would then impact our base for fiscal year 14-15 and become a permanent part of our revenue. So about a week and a half, 2 weeks ago now, we had a Region 9 Chief Instructional Officers meeting here on campus. And at that meeting, there were 6 of our area college districts reporting they were not going to make their base. So I think we're in a really good position, not only that we're growing and that we are going to achieve our base in growth, but that we're in a position to actually capture additional growth as we move into next year. So from an FTES perspective, we're in really good shape.
Thank you.
Any other questions or discussion?
Just one more. We're still considered in the yes or no questions at the end. We still have fiscal problems that may affect us this year, and I'm assuming that is the MIS situation, Dr. Kinnaman?
That's correct.
Thank you.
So on section 2, the annualized attendant FTEs, we're looking at then projected 2013, 7,464, just correct?
Yeah, correct. And
Thank you.
if you have a question on that, Dr. Neri can address that.
Okay.
Do you have a question? Are you okay?
Where are we? We're on track then. I
Okay,
think we
right.
did- I'm just seeing it went from 8,000, I just have a concern, from 8,648, then we went down to 7,000. I just wanted to, just 1,000, I mean, just wanted to know a little bit about that.
Good afternoon,
Good afternoon.
Madam Chair, Board of Trustees, Dr. Kinnaman, Executive, and esteemed guests. To address that, I think in the past, what the departments didn't necessarily integrate the reports. And the reports that really solidify our FTSs is called a 320 report. But I have to say that between John Vermont and Lisa Howell's leadership, what they've done is we've actually integrated kind of the reports and kind of shared our documents. And with their leadership and kind of their movement forward in terms of fiscally sound practices, we've now integrated those numbers. So those numbers in the past did not reflect the 320 report because last year's FTS was actually 7,054. We accounted for the 1.63% growth at the state, which got us up to just under 2%, which is the 7,195. And considering that was our goal and we're at 7,464, we're in a perfect position for restoration and growth. And again, the leadership in fiscal services, I'm really grateful for that kind of relationship and integration. So now the numbers in their 311 will now reflect the numbers in the 320.
Thank you very much. Very clear.
Thank you. Thank
Ver-
you.
Thank you, Annabella.
Thank you for those great questions and that very helpful discussion and with it. That really helps us see the picture. So student trustee
Aye.
Campbell? Aye.
Thank you.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? I hear that as unanimous vote. Resolution 05-1614-4, authorization to encumber funds for the following fiscal year. Do I have a motion to approve the resolution?
So moved.
Second.
Have motions and seconds. Is there any discussion? Nobody wants to ask really like, what does this mean? Okay, good.
Everybody understands it, right?
Okay, we're good then.
Yeah.
Okay, no discussion, it's a roll call vote.
Trustee Campbell.
Aye.
Trustee O'Neill.
Aye.
Trustee Wilson.
Aye.
Trustee Sanchez.
Red and gold, yeah. Aye.
Trustee Stefan.
Aye.
Trustee Bratton.
Aye. Designation of off-site location. Do I have a motion to approve the designation of off-site location as presented?
So moved.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. I asked this question, why this was on here, so Ms. Davies, would you edify us?
Yes, this is asking the board to authorize the district to offer credit-bearing courses at an off-site location. Anytime we come into a situation where we're asked or decide to offer classes outside of our campus locations, we're required to get your support and approval for that. So we're asking specifically this month for us to look at our DEEC site, and you will also see some additional requests coming forward in the next month related to our dual enrollment program and the fact that we'll be offering courses at some of our local high schools that we haven't in the previous years. So we ask for your support on this, and we're excited to be expanding the locations to offer our courses.
I have another question. When we've offered courses at Palm Springs High School and Desert Hot Springs High School, we've never seen one of these for that. Is that not required because it's Field Act compliant?
I will have to follow up on that, Trustee O'Neill, and do a little bit of research to see historically where that is. We only need to ask for your permission once, so it could be that had happened at some point in history, but I can't confirm that. So I'll do a little research and I'll follow up with you.
Well, if it's only once, that would explain it. Yeah, so they've been going on for years, so that would explain. Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much. Are there any other questions? I think this is a regular motion.
It is.
It is. All in favor?
Student
No.
trustee.
Student trustee, thank you.
Aye.
Aye. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hear that as unanimous vote. Notice of intent to award contracts for the Applied Sciences Project and addendum notice of intent to award a contract for the Athletic Facilities Project. Do I have a motion to approve the designation of off-site location as presented?
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion?
I'm so glad to see the tennis courts. And I know John will be too.
And I know John will be too, that there, I did inquire, and yes, we do have enough tennis courts for a class of tennis, not just for 2/3 of a class of tennis. Any other discussion? Student trustee?
Aye.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstain? I heard that as a unanimous vote. Next item is our study session, May revise.
Yes. I would ask that our Director in Fiscal, if he could help us with this, John Armont.
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Kinnaman, Madam Chair and Board. The governor released his May revise this week, and some of the changes in it, I came out of K-12 education where they were getting a lot of money dumped on him, and he's a little bit, I think he's a little slower with this, but it's after so many years of really bad news, it's nice to have good news. There wasn't very many changes specifically in the May revise. However, as I alluded to before, there was, he's backing off on a 3% growth for next year for community colleges down to a 2.75. And proposing to fund a cost of living adjustment of 0.85%, which, is pretty small, but that's a calculation that's just, based on a standard calculation. There is some other good money, or good news for money in the other programs that have not been in there a while. I think the one that got the most press was the $50 million to support economic and workforce development programs. And there's even some money in there for some new technology, and so there's some things about that. One of them that's probably the biggest concern to me right now is obviously everybody's heard about what's gone on with CalSTRS and what situation CalSTRS has been in. Unlike PERS, which the PERS board can set their own rates on an annual basis, STRS has to go to legislation to change it. And in this budget package, the governor has proposed legislation to close that gap, which is very significant. And it's a big gap, and it's going to be painful. And the hard part about it is just the magnitude of that gap. So the governor's proposal is to say everybody who currently shares in the cost of that retirement system is going to have to share in the repair of that retirement system over about a 30-year period. And so that means an increase to employers, employee deductions on their checks, and also what the state contributes into it too. But for us, what it means is we currently we pay 8.25% of a person's salary. We add on to that to contribute towards their STRS retirement. For next year, that's going to change up to a 9.5%, which is very significant. For our college, that's about $250,000 in additional costs that, we weren't quite, in any of the projections, because that's a number that just doesn't change very often. And that number is going to proposed to increase every year by another 1.6% until it gets up to over 19%. So whatever a person's salary is, we're going to have to kick in another 19%, and then their contribution goes from 8% over that time to over 10%, so around there. So it's a significant thing, and it definitely has an impact on our ongoing budget and what monies are available to move forward with.
That's a forever thing? I mean, this is the new norm now, 19 for us and 10 something for an employee forever?
That's what, it'll be phased in over some years. Like, we don't get to the 19% until the year 2020, I believe. But as it stands right now, yeah, that's a big jump going from 8.25 to 9.5. And so we'll be dealing with that.
Is your sense that the legislature will support this?
That's always the wild card, because You know, we got a letter from the chancellor's office that, you know, the one that you passed on, and I appreciate that, because they almost make it sound like it's a done deal. And, you know, personally, I don't think anything's a done deal until the legislature gets a hold of it, because there's a lot of discussion to go on. But given the magnitude of the problem, how many people it affects, there's going to be significant change. I don't see how they can avoid that. So we would, and in our planning, we will assume that, you know, as we set up our budget, we're going to assume that as probably basically worst case scenario. And if they decide not to go that far, that would be a wonderful thing. But it's most likely going to go that way. He's really good at getting his way on those things.
In my long-term memory, I remember the state, when they were in fiscal difficulties, borrowed monies from STRS, and I never heard that that was repaid. Do you know anything about that?
No, I sure don't. I'm sorry.
Okay, I think maybe the state's forging its debt on the backs of others now. That's what I think is happening. But I think many years ago they did borrow, and because it was a wealthy retirement program, and they took some of their money back. And I think we're now suffering the consequences of that. Are you right, right, Dr. Stefan? I think you remember that, don't you? Mm-hmm.
Legislation.
Right. So I don't think there might not be a long-term history in Sacramento to know who's paying for what now and why, but it's be interesting. I do think that the various organizations like the CTA and perhaps some of the community college league will be speaking against that proposal when it gets to the legislature. Just some thoughts.
Just some thoughts. Yes, you don't want to hear mine. I have to work 30 more years, I just found that out.
Thank you.
From an operational side on the remainder of the proposal, it's also nice to be looking at, even if it's a small COLA, rather to look at increases rather than deficits continuing on. As we do not, when we started this year, it was a projected, I believe it was a 5% deficit that they were projecting for us, and most are planning at a 1%. So, you know, again, the surprises are on the upside finally rather than downside.
I'm still on disabled students listservs, and I did notice something. One of the concerns that came out was that the categorical programs are not getting the funding increase necessary to cover.
Correct, and particularly in that program, there's, you know, it just doesn't cover its costs. It's, you know, it's a program that we support quite extensively, and they're not proposed to get any increases, which is unfortunately typical. There's always money to start something, but not really to continue it. And the idea is with the categorical is that we absorb it in at some point, but that would also presume that we're gaining adequately in our general funds that we have discretion over.
And isn't that true? They're having the reserve. That's something that he's implemented that has never been implemented before.
As far as the rainy day fund,
The rainy day
that we've
fund,
been
that's
hearing a
gonna-
lot about, yeah, and I think you're hearing a lot of political wrangling about that as well. How far he gets with that, you know, it just depends, because it's always competing priorities, just like any other thing. But he has made some massive historical changes that he's been able to affect where others weren't. So.
Thank you.
Thank you, John.
My pleasure.
The other item in our study session are board goals. We've been discussing, maybe I should move back. We've been discussing a workshop, a trustee workshop, and at meetings prior to this, we've had a list of possible presenters, and I've asked that you choose your top 3 and send those names in to Leanne. If you've not done that, please do, because what we're going to do is we're going to tally that list. The top 3 vote, the ones that get the most votes, the top 3, then it gives our president a little leeway to see what presenters' times coordinate with our times. We're just trying to make it a little looser. And this workshop will probably be a late fall workshop. We're also looking to have a workshop during the summer, late summer, whenever we can work it out with our schedules. And that presenter's already been chosen, so we're pretty sturdy on that. Today's work is our board goals. We've looked at these board goals before, but I'm passing them out so they'll become part of public record. We have 4 goals here. Support the development and implementation of a comprehensive student success plan that includes pre-collegiate through completion. Support the roles and responsibilities of consistency groups and management in advancing the student success agenda through its planning, review, and decision-reaching processes. Support the college's processes for developing the annual budget that meets adopted fiscal criteria with emphasis on student success, compliance, articulated priorities, elimination of waste, and efficiency of operations. And model and emphasize teamwork as basic trustee tenet that practices policy governance. Now, that seems like a really short list, but having the approach to life that I have to be able to measure to see whether or not we're actually achieving these nebulous goals. So Dr. Kinman was kind enough to work and come up with some measurable outcomes. So some measurable outcomes are listed there, and then some examples. I thank you and those folks that you got to pull this information together. I would like us over the month to read these, come back with suggestions, and I'd like to adopt this or something close to this as our board goal. So we have a list that we can look at, and then once we've adopted them, I'd like to put them in we'll have a set at home, but I'd like a set here in our boardroom notebook so that when you're looking at something and you're thinking, how should we be approaching this? How does this work with our board goals? We can reach in and pull it out and look at it and say, oh yeah, here it is, or oh my, that's not here at all. Perhaps we should add it to the board goals, or perhaps this isn't the emphasis that we're giving emphasis to something that's not here. We need to be able to value those things. So I'm passing these out. If you additions, corrections, and subtractions, please email to Leanne so that it all comes together by next month.
Next month?
Next month. That gives you a month to read and think about it. They're not small goals, so they really will need some thought. That's why I wanted to pass them out rather than us just sit and read them and say, okay, this is what we want to do.
I just got back from the Regional Training Trusteeship Workshop last week in Bakersfield College, so they just announced something from the state about closing the equity gap for California community colleges that maybe we can incorporate that. I will be submitting that to Leanne, so I just want to make
Great.
sure that we're in compliance of that. Thank you.
Great. Any?
The purpose of this is really to alter our evaluation process to make it more measurable.
That is
to what we
exactly the
do.
case.
Right.
This is all so that we have, it's always part of education, so that we have a better feel for what we do as trustees, and in that, so we can measure ourselves when we evaluate. Thank you for prompting
And
me.
this is
So I say
aligned with the president and the
This will be
college.
aligned with the president and the college and our self-evaluation. Because often when always when you self-evaluate, you think, how can I do a better job? If you don't think those things, then we're missing it somehow. So this will help us evaluate ourselves. It will help us with our discussions with our president, and it will help us all work together, the whole college community, the whole team working together.
Relate.
I think, isn't it the
And
accreditation, Chairman, isn't it the accreditation as well, most critical?
Well, the accreditation as well, but accreditation is a way of measuring, of evaluating ourselves. It's sort of, we're doing it because it helps our education process, it helps our student process, and therefore the accreditation will see that, oh yes, they really are doing their job.
Related to this, I don't know if anyone else noticed that the league's fall conference is Mission Hills this
Correct.
year in
Yes, it is.
November, and it makes it easy for all of us to attend. And as a college, it's just a question of throwing out for, usually the host college does something and has sometimes performances by student groups and so on and so forth. So are we in the planning process for that?
We will reach out to the league staff.
Okay.
Mike?
Mike, with your
Mike, you're singing.
with your sing
Wake up, Mike.
your stellar
I just volunteered
performance.
to. Thank you for sleeping.
You want us to speak to you in French? Come
That
on.
would be nice to have a snippet of that performance as a showcase of our spring play. It'd be fantastic if we could.
Yeah, see, that's what happens. You snooze,
I
you
think
lose.
the talent's kind of expensive around here. I'm
Yeah.
not sure.
Oh!
How much do you charge over there for your performances? All right.
You kn-
Yeah.
He's big time now.
Joel, will we be doing a workshop, since we are the hosts, Community College League out of the 112 community college, just for those in the audience that don't know?
I gave somebody a nod and a wink a minute ago that we will reach out to the league, and if there are RFPs for colleges to submit things that they're doing that they would like to share, then we will be engaged in that as well. So I'm making eye contact with several people on staff. So
I think that date was announced in that notice we received. The window for getting proposals is quite narrow.
We're a very
now,
we're a very
Anna's
nimble-
nodding and winking, but she's not smiling.
we're a very nimble organization.
And on that note, I just want to mention, in the regional meeting, I was elected as the vice chair of CALTA, the California Community League vice chair for that organization, a subsection of the California Community College, CALSA. So it's an honor to serve in that position.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
So seeing no more business on our agenda, are there any objections to adjourning the meeting other than I'm busy eating Trustee Hayden's rice pudding? Then this meeting is adjourned in memory of the former trustee Charles Hayden at 2:54 p.m.